Hi everybody, welcome back to YouTube. I'm Doug Miles. Here's another one of my series of interviews I've done on radio here in Sarasota, Florida. This one with one of the best young singers in the business. Her name is Pamela Luss. She has a brand new CD out called Sweet and Sexy. I had a chance to talk to her recently, and here's that interview. Hope you enjoy it.
Great pleasure to welcome back good friend to the show. She's been with us several times before. Always great to have her back. And she has a brand new CD out. It's called Sweet and Sexy. Great to welcome back one of the great young singers in the business, Pamela Luss from New York City today. How are you, Pamela?
I'm good, Doug. Thanks for having me back. It's always a pleasure.
Good to talk to you. I guess it was last spring when the Magnet album came out, or late spring, and congratulations on that. It continues to be a success, but congratulations on the new CD.
Yes. CD, Sweet and Sexy, with Houston Person.
Well, that's great. I know you did some gigs at, was it Busy's Club with Houston Person, right?
Yes, we did.
He was on the CD with you.
Exactly, at the Women in Jazz Festival last September, and he's going to be playing with me. We have the CD release show at Jazz Standard here in New York on the 28th, and I really, I love singing with him. It's just really a treat, so I'm looking forward to having him be part of the shows, and doing the album with him was really a unique experience and a quite enjoyable one.
Is it interesting or different for you to sing with a saxophone accompaniment as opposed to maybe a piano or other kind of accompaniment?
Yeah, it is different. It creates a different mood. I mean, there is a special chemistry that Houston and I have that I really enjoy. He's really a legend in the jazz world, and he has a way of playing with a singer where it's like he's in your head and he just knows exactly what to play that makes the music beautiful and colorful, but it's never in your way in any kind of way. It's just a beautiful addition. It's like you're answering one another, and he had come to me with a bunch of songs that he thought would be good for me to sing, and it sort of took off from there, and he really gets me. He just knows what songs are good for me, and he had picked maybe about 12, and I only eliminated a few, and I added in some of mine, and it's just a nice partnership. I'm very fortunate to have a friendship with him and then be involved with him musically in this way.
Just looking at some of the tracks, and you mentioned Houston suggested some songs, you suggested them, and you have a great mix of songs. You start off with Eddie Haywood's Canadian Sunset. That's kind of an underrated song, I think. It's a standard, but it doesn't get sung or sung that hardly at all. Usually you hear it as an instrumental. That's a great song to start off the album with.
Yeah, thank you. Well, Houston wanted to find songs that were sung and popular a while back, and that haven't been done in a while, that should be done in his eyes. So Canadian Sunset was actually picked by Will Friedwald. He was the repertoire consultant on my last album. That's one that he had picked, but Houston loves this song. And I had done it actually for a holiday show, because it does have a little bit of a holiday edge.
Sure.
Sort of one of those songs that, meant to ski slopes. And so, I added it into a holiday show. But I thought it would be perfect for this album, and we loved it. It turned out to be, such a fun thing to do in the studio that we thought it would be a good opener.
And you get some great numbers from the big band era. Star Eyes, that's one of the great songs that a lot of the female vocalists sang back in those years. I think, did Kitty Callan have a hit with that? I'm not sure, but I think a lot of the female vocalists sang that one.
A lot of female vocalists did Star Eyes, and they haven't done it, nobody's really done it recently, and that was definitely one that Houston had suggested. I can't think of many.
Why Was I Born? That's another great one, I guess from the 20s, wasn't it, that song?
Yeah, and that's another one Houston had suggested, and we had fun with that, because in the studio, we just decided to have me sing with the bassist, Ray Drummond, once through. We just played it by ear, and it went really well, and we just kept that cut for the CD, and it was a nice look. It's fun to experiment in the studio, especially I really hadn't, other than John DiMartino, who did all the arrangements with me, I hadn't, and Houston, obviously, I hadn't worked with the rest of the musicians that are on the album, so the first time I met them was at the recording.
Oh, really?
So, yeah, it's interesting. We didn't rehearse. I didn't rehearse with the rest of the band. Just obviously I rehearsed and did the arrangements with John, and Houston was quite involved as well. But we didn't rehearse, so we just went into the studio. We had, recorded it in 2 afternoons, and it's great because it was spontaneous. We had made some changes and we had come up with some musical ideas while we were in the studio, and that's what kind of, I guess, jazz is supposed to be all about, is spontaneity and going with the moment. And so Why Was I Born, I hadn't intended on singing the first time through with Ray playing just the bass, but we went for it, and hopefully everybody will like it. It's one of my favorite tracks.
How do you go about, I think I might have asked you this before, but how do you go about doing the arrangements on some of these standards? You have to sort of do something a little bit different, I guess, in your mind. You don't want to do it exactly like somebody else did. What's your process for doing that?
Well, I either try to do like one of two things or both. I work, really closely with John DiMartino, who had done these arrangements, or if it would be another arranger on anything I do, but he's done most of the arrangements for the last, few albums, the last couple albums and this one. And he's so talented. He's really great at what he does. And what we do is we work closely together in developing some ideas, whether it be a completely different arrangement from what's been done before, or if I can't come up with something that's too different or unique, I try to make it unique in the delivery of my performance, which would be, to phrase it in a way that I feel is, different, or just to sing it or phrase it in a way that's different from, hopefully, the way other singers have done it, so it does stand out in that way. So there's sort of, it can be either or both, and it's a process, and it takes time. It doesn't take time it doesn't take a lot of time to learn the songs, but it takes time to develop the arrangement so that it really works around my voice, and I feel like it fits in a way where I can really express it the way that I want to. So it's a definite process. That's probably what most of the rehearsing time consists of, is making sure the arrangement works.
Talking with Pamela Luss with Houston Person. The name of the CD is Sweet and Sexy. You do a great tribute to the chairman, Frank Sinatra, with one of his classics, Nice and Easy. That must have been fun for you to sing, huh?
Yeah, it was really, I had a great time with Nice and Easy. I loved it the minute Houston suggested it to me. I said, I've always loved that song. And I sang it, and it just worked right away. It clicked with me, and it's just fun. It's got a nice feeling to it. It makes you happy.
I guess you really can't go wrong with some of these songs. I mean, they were written almost so perfectly back in the day. As long as you're on key, I guess you're okay, right?
Hopefully, right?
Oh, you are, but I'm just saying in general, a song like that, it just is right there for you. You can then interpret how you want to go with it.
Right,
at that point.
And I think that's what's nice about some of these standards is you can stick to the melody as long as, because they are so beautiful and they're so classic, as long as you can find a way to phrase it and sing it from your heart so that it is something that you do that's sort of individualistic. So I think that's kind of what you're saying is, you really don't need to change them that much, or, you don't need to change the melody that much. You just need to find a way to make it your own. So I tried to do that, and hopefully the listeners will feel that way.
Since we talked to you, have you been doing a lot of live performing around the area? I know New York area in particular, but how about around the country?
Yeah, I have been. I've been performing, a little bit around here. I just was at J&R Music. I did a live in-store performance, and I have the CD release event coming up at the end of October at Jazz Standard. And then I'm going to be at Barnes & Noble's, and I have a bunch of other stuff coming up, and one show in Philadelphia at Chris's Jazz Club, and I'm booking more stuff after the new year too, so I'm working on it. You never know, I may get to Florida.
Name of the CD is Sweet and Sexy. You've been talking with Pamela Luss, Houston Person, on the CD with Pamela. Pamela, give out the website. People want to get more information about where you're going to be and where they can get the CD.
Sure, great. It's Pamela Luss, PAMELALUSS, like SamSam.com.
We look forward to talking to you again real soon, perhaps
Thanks so much
after the turn of the calendar here. We'll do it again.
That would be great.
Check out my other interviews here on YouTube. Thanks for watching. Also, you can tune in at blog.milestonebroadcasting.com for podcasts of my radio shows. We'll see you again real soon.